Hare Krishna. I'd like to read today from Srila Raghunatha Goswami's Sri Vraja-Vilasa-Stava on this his auspicious disappearance day. In a mood of great deference, I offer my head unto the lotus feet of Sri Radha Krishna. I have fallen into a helpless condition, bound with a rope of pratishta by the highwaymen, lust, greed, and anger. I implore those heroic personalities headed by Sri Swarup, Sri Rupa, and Sri Sanatan, who protect the path of bhakti by which one attains Agari Sri Hari, the destroyer of sin, to defeat my captors and cut the ropes that are binding me. Hey Hari, I am scorched by the blazing forest fire of old age, deeply bitten by the poisonous snake of blindness, pierced by the sharp arrows of forced dependence on others, and surrounded by the lions of anger, lust, and greed. Hey Swamin, kindly allow me to drink your ambrosial prem, which will make me strong and brave enough to resist all enemies so that I can resolutely do bhajan. Remembering the flavor of but one drop of the ocean of Sri Sri Radha Madhava's indescribable and incomparable ambrosial sweetness has made my heart wildly eager to see them. Presenting my heartfelt prayers for their darshan in this poetic treatise, I bow down before their Vrajdham and all the Vrajvasis, moving and non-moving, even the dust, trees, animals, birds, insects, and so on. I pray that by their causeless mercy, Radha Madhava will grant me their darshan. The disembodied Kamadev, who attained the body by continually tasting the nectar of the sight of Sri Yugala, eternally illuminates the entire Vraj with a jubilant festival of Sri Krishna's amorous pastimes. When will my heart be laden with love so that I can witness the confidential play of Sri Sri Gandhava Giridhari, the crown jewels of innocent young beautiful couples? The city of Dwarka, where Bhagavan resides with his relatives, including his brother and sons, and where he enjoys pastimes with a great multitude of queens, each eclipsing many hundreds of Lakshmis in virtues, beauty, and good fortune, is dearer even than Vaikuntha. But Mathura, due to being the place of Krishna's birth and being the abode and embodiment of the purest prem, is even more dear than Dwarka. Within the district of Mathura, the land of Sri Vraj manifests in all its splendor. I eternally worship the land of Mathura. Even today, Sri Madhava enjoys the sweet nectar of transcendental pastimes there, lovingly herding the cows with his brother Baladev and his dear beloved Sakhas. The astonishing sweetness of this place appears in the hearts of the Rasika devotees. I take shelter of Vraj, which is more precious even than Mathura. Surrounded by their witty and clever gopi friends, the youthful couple, Kishore Kishori, day and night lose themselves in an unending play of amorous enjoyment in the kunjas and mountain caves of Vrindavan, dense with trees, bushes, and blossoming vines. I worship the wonderful forest of Vrindavan, delightfully saturated with the intoxicating aroma of their lotus feet. In Vrindavan is the town of Nandishwar, where the goddess of fortune, Kamala, always wanders around looking for service, where the great mystic perfections, seeking to serve the Vrajvasis, are present in full, where the cows, accepting service from everyone, enjoy ever-increasing opulences, where the Vrajvasis live in topmost bliss, and where Shri Krishna freely enjoys himself under the loving protection of his parents. I worship this town, Nandishwar, the home of Rajraj, Sri Nanda Maharaj, and the most exalted place within his kingdom. For the welfare of his son, the king of Gokul, Sri Nanda Maharaj daily pleases the Brahmins by respectfully presenting them with sweets, ambrosial beverages, and celestial cows decorated with many jewels. Satisfying them with these valuable donations, he repeatedly begged their blessings for his baby boy. I worship the king of Gokul, who is always absorbed in thoughts of his son. Because of the Goteshwari's immense love for her darling son. A continuous flow of milk trickles from her breasts. She is prepared to give her life many millions of times to protect him from even a single drop of perspiration, and she is so attached to him that if for a moment she cannot see him, she cries like a cow frightened for her newborn calf. May Yashoda, the Queen of Vraj, protect us. I worship Rohini Devi, who showers her love upon Govinda more than on her own son Haladar. She is thoroughly expert in the art of cooking. She delights the Queen of Vraj with the brilliance of her sincere friendship, and she gladdens Nanda Maharaj, the king of cowherders, with her saintly virtues. I joyfully praise Sri Baladev, the enemy of Dhenukasura, whose bodily effulgence shines brightly like many millions of glistening moons, who easily destroys even a whiff of the false pride of the most sinful and formidable demons with his boundless power, and who, although knowing full well the supernatural strength of his younger brother Sri Krishna, still, out of immense love for him, never lets him out of his sight in the woods even for a moment. Aho, I offer pranam unto Sri Krishna's paternal grandfather, Sri Parjanya Gopa, who proclaims his pride in having Krishna as his grandson in a voice that mocks the roaring of millions of thunderclouds, and who always delights his grandson by speaking many joking words in his ear. I offer pranam to Variyasi Devi, Krishna's paternal grandmother. With merry joking words she worships Sri Krishna, calling him the moon of grandsons. Happy and proud of her grandson, her feet no longer touch the ground when she walks. His handsome face with a great white beard and his complexion dark, the pious Upananda is the respected Prime Minister in the council of the King of Raj. He is prepared to give up his life millions of times over to please his nephew Sri Krishna. I pray that Upananda, who lives in the village of Sahara, may always protect the land of Vraj. May we always be protected by Nanda Maharaj's younger brother Sananda, whose complexion is golden and whose beard is black, who is tender, generous and affectionate, who is deeply devoted to his older brother's feet, who is the father of Sunanda Gopi, who is the master of a great herd of buffalo, and who worships his nephew Madhava with every breath and praises him by giving him palatable dishes made with buffalo yogurt. Upananda's son Subhadra is dark-complexioned, youthful, handsome, intelligent and mild-natured. He is the best of astrologers and more learned than even Brihaspati. Always at the left side of the King of Raj, he gives good advice for protecting Krishna, who is millions of times more dear to him than his own life. With great love I offer pranam unto Subhadra. Frightened that the delicate Krishna may be hurt by the demons, Ambika performed severe austerities for many days to please Goddess Parvati. Satisfied, Devi granted her a heroic son who was able to kill many demons. May Shri Krishna's wet nurse, Ambika, whose mind is always absorbed in maternal affection for him, protect us. Saying, "Where are the demons? With ease I shall shorten their lives." Vijay, the son of Krishna's wet nurse, calls so loudly that his roaring voice causes millions of spiritual universes to crack. What to speak of the demons, who are the most insignificant of living beings? Out of maternal affection for Krishna, Ambika instructed her son Vijay to always stay near little Krishna to protect him. I worship Vijay, the son of Krishna's wet nurse. Bhaguri Muni, the learned chief priest of Rajpur, is the shelter of the personified Vedas, who pray to him for some small service to Sri Nandanandan. Daily, while touching every part of Sri Krishna Murari's body, he ceremoniously recites mantras to Bhagavan Narayan for the protection of each of the child's limbs. And daily he smells and kisses Krishna's head while offering him many benedictions. I bow down and offer pranam to the king of all sages, Bhaguri Muni. I fully take shelter of Krishna's constant companion, Sri Dama, who never leaves Krishna for an instant, who is the object of Krishna's profuse love, who is the most skillful and clever of the Sakas, whose complexion is dark, who is proud that his qualities, age, clothing, and handsome features closely resemble those of Krishna, and who trembles with anxiety if he cannot see his friend for even a single moment. Offer pranam unto Subal, the embodiment of very concentrated and ever-fresh Anurag, who adores Krishna, the moon of Gokul, so much that when they are separated at night, he weeps and prays to the moon for morning to come so that he can be with Krishna again. And when sleeping, even in his dreams, he is playing with his friend and never lets go of his hand. His heart is overwhelmed in praying, remembering how his friend Krishna enjoys the greatest happiness when meeting with Srimati Radhika, and he is bathing in a cascade of her pranaya. Indeed, Subal lives for this. Gathering together all the lakhs and lakhs of cows scattered here and there, Krishna's cowherd boyfriends take great delight as they move along and playfully pulling each other by the arm, grabbing Krishna's palm and reading the lines of his fortune, and joking about Krishna's meeting with his beloved. They have not a scent of Aishvarya Bhav in their hearts. The mud of awe and reverence has been completely washed away by the water from the ocean of the pure Sakabhav. I take shelter of these sakas who are decorated with all the apparel of cowherders, like horns and sticks, and who have placed their hearts, lives, knowledge, and their everything as an offering at Krishna's lotus feet. With great love and respect, I praise and glorify Vrindavan's Chandra's Priyanama Saka Madhumangal, who is the very personification of Hasya Ras, the mellow of comedy. He is pure-hearted and ever jovial because he is always with Krishna. As he is controlled excuse me, by hunger, Krishna and the Sakas enjoy teasing him, and all laugh when he threatens with his curses. He is expert in drowning his dearest friends, Krishna and Balaram, in an ocean of laughter with his comical words and entertaining gestures. I worship Bhagavati Purnamasi, who provides for the perpetual auspiciousness of Raj. With the help of the most expert Sakis, she secretly makes wonderful arrangements for the clever Radha Madhava's meetings, nourishing Sri Yugala Man, loving quarrels, and Abhisar, nocturnal rendezvous. She again and again relishes the ocean of nectar produced from these blissful festivals of love. I forever worship the renowned Vrishabhanu Maharaj, who sports a neatly clipped beard, who is very generous, who comes from a brilliant dynasty, whose complexion is golden, who at age 50 is very wise and highly respected by everyone in Braj, who is the most intimate friend of Raja's King Nanda, and who loves his younger daughter Radha even more than he does his eldest child, Sri Dama. Her mind overwhelmed with a flood of love, Kirtida Devi, without fail, sends the two unmarried girls of Radhika's childhood nanny to gather the news of her daughter's activities in Jabat every day. Lalita, Vishaka, and the Manjaris convey to them only good news, telling about Radhika's happiness, never any bad news. May Kirtida Devi, the mother of Srimati Radhika, protect us. I carry the dust of the lotus feet of Eldala Mukara Devi upon my head, peevishly and cleverly contriving many obstacles to impede the amorous pastimes of her two young grandchildren, Kishore Kishori. She only increases their boundless bliss. Flooded with the nectar of intense love for Yugala Kishore, who more dear to her than her own life, Lalita Devi, affectionately arrogant in their presence, daily arranges for their rendezvous, and then, with clever and nectarian words, instructs her Saki Radhika on how to best utilize her mood of jealous anger. I pray, Lalita Devi, will one day accept me into her own party. Vishaka Devi, who is the object of Yugala Kishore's love and playful joking, pleases them with her divinely sweet singing that eclipses even the cooing cuckoo. Aho, may Vishaka Devi be pleased with us and teach us the art of singing. I throw myself at the lotus feet of Vrinda Devi, who, filled with a great flood of love, decorates the ever-fresh kunjas of Vrindavan with a vast abundance of fragrant flowers, creating a festive atmosphere for Sri Radha Krishna and their beloved Sakis to enjoy sweet pastimes. I worship Kundalata Devi, who on the order of Queen Yashoda daily comes to Java to take Srimati Radhika to Nanda Bhavan to cook for Krishna. And as she hurries Radhika along, she pleases her with a continuous narration of the latest news of Sri Hari. In turn, the charming Kundalata Devi, glowing with friendship and auspicious playfulness, becomes filled with happiness. I worship Radha and Krishna's dearmost Saki, Dhanishta Devi, who, after Sri Radha has been brought on Vrajeshwari's order to cook for Krishna in the morning, happily finds any pretext to arrange for Srimati Radhika and her beloved to meet in a kunj on Nandishwar hill. And when she brings Radhika from Java, she knows which path to take where they will come upon Krishna. Because she arranges these meetings, she is Radha's life. Her heart enchanted by repeatedly hearing the glories of Rajdham, Nandi Mukhi Devi left her native village of Avantipur and eagerly came to Vraj, where she eternally increases the joy of Radha Krishna's amorous meetings. With great love I forever praise Nandi Mukhi Devi. Her ward is tinted and fragrant with kumkum, kasturi, musk and chandan, fallen from Sri Radha Krishna's as they joyfully play in her water. The Yamuna river happily smiles at them with a smile of her foam and softly splashes them with the beautiful hands of her waves. I pray that Yamuna, the daughter of the sun god, may expand our happiness. Srimati Radhika's Priya Sakis, having gone to fetch the supremely blissful Sri Hari on the order of their beloved Saki, find him sitting alone in a solitary place. When he invites them to meet privately with him and catches them by the hand, they vehemently reject his appeal. Pushing him away, they spontaneously and angrily rebuke him. You will not find so much enjoyment with us. Our Saki will give you much more pleasure, so come with us. Thus they daily arrange for Radha to meet with her sweetheart. I place my head at the feet of Srimati Radhika's Priya Sakis and pray for the day when I will have the chance to do this seva. I worship Krishna's servants led by Patri, who in all circumstances lovingly, enthusiastically and respectfully arrange for his happiness by bringing him his flute, offering him a mirror, water and betel nuts, scented with camphor, carrying messages for him, and playing veena and other instruments for him. Lovingly dividing up all these services amongst themselves and acting like his sakas, they eternally attend to the Lord of their lives with body, mind and words. By offering her betel nuts, massaging her feet, bringing her water, arranging for her secret meetings with Sri Krishna, and performing various other services, countless gopi maid servants constantly please Sri Radha, the queen of Vrindavan forest. In their service to Yugala Kishore, they are even less shy than the Pran Preshtasakis, for whom Sri Radha is more dear than life. I take shelter of these gopi maid servants, led by Sri Rupa Manjari. I worship Madhava's fortunate associates, who consider the vast ocean of their own happiness to be as insignificant as a blade of grass, and who, filled with pure love for Sri Krishna, the enemy of the Mura demon, always lovingly and humbly strive to increase his happiness. I worship Srimati Radhika's intimate dasis, who become so distraught that they appear as if dead if they cannot see their Swamini even for a moment, who take their pleasure exclusively in Radhika's pleasure, whose hearts are melted with affection for her, and who enchant Krishna with their pure characters and their single-pointed focus in living only to bring joy to Yugala Kishore. I praise and glorify the highly fortunate rival gopis who blossom with many amorous desires and who have so much punya that Govinda briefly enjoys amorous pastimes with them. Unable to satisfy him fully, these competing gopis serve to enhance Srimati Radhika's fortune, her ecstatic bewilderment, and her pride on being the undisputed heroine of Shringar Ras. I forever worship the exalted Gopas who at every moment consider themselves to be blessed with a happiness greater than all the happiness in the creation multiplied 1,000,000 times over, who are protected by Krishna with more prem than can be found in all the universes put together, and whose minds always remain fervently alert to protect even the specks of dust falling from the tips of Krishna's handsome lotus toenails. I perpetually venerate the foot dust of the elder gopis, who, brimming over with motherly affection, most lovingly adulate the drops of perspiration that trickle from Mukunda's lotus feet, whom they love more than their own sons and their own selves, and who repeatedly kiss his head, which is so nicely decorated with a peacock feather. Sri Krishna's cows have very beautiful bright blue hooves that shimmer more than blazing sapphires. Their gold-studded horns are most attractive, naturally looking like brilliant multicolored gems, and their radiant white humps cripple the pride of snow-capped mountain peaks. May these cows ever protect us. I worship these cows, the daughters of Surabhi, who are always eager to engage Rajendra Nandan, Balaram, Sri Dama, and the other cowherd boys in the joyful daily festival of taking them out to graze and milking them. Worshipped by Krishna and all the sakhas, they cover the boys and themselves with a mist of sparkling, snow-like dust raised by their hooves, as filled with love they roam around the dense forests, high mountains, and river banks of Raj. All glories to Krishna's pet bull, Padmaganda, who is fragrant like a lotus, whose handsome gold-studded horns shimmer like many-colored jewels, whose charming hooves are more effulgent than precious sapphires, and around whose splendid white neck dances a brilliant necklace made of red and white rope, charmingly twisted together with bells and jewels. Sometimes Krishna feeds the calves, lovingly placing small bunches of tender fresh grass in their mouths, and sometimes he gently scratches and rubs their bodies. Oh, how I yearn to one day see Krishna's calves jumping and frolicking in Vrindavan. Aho, I continuously offer pranam unto the most fortunate Murali flute, who is nourished by deeply drinking the nectar of Krishna's lips day and night without obstruction, and who dissolves Sri Radhika's great loving peak with her sweet sounds. Neither the flattering, cajoling words spoken by Rinda and other gopi messengers, nor the gestures and jokes of Madhumangal and other sakhas, nor the Prince of Raj personally falling at her feet and begging her to forgive him, nor even the angry rebukes spoken by her intimate friends, were able to mollify Srimati Radhika's unrelenting man. Only Krishna's flute, disdaining all previous useless attempts, was able to easily chase away her jealous anger. I always glorify and offer pranam to this most fortunate Sakhi, Krishna's Vamshi. I eagerly yearn to see Tandavika, the king of peacocks, remembering how he bloomed with joy upon hearing the melody of Hari's Murali. I remember how he delighted Radhakunj Vihari when they were enjoying in the Nikunj, and how he spread out his tail feathers and joyfully danced before their gate on the bank of Radhakund. May we always be protected by Sri Govardhan, who became worshipable when Sri Murari for 7 days lovingly held the hill aloft with his graceful hand to defend Raj. May we always be protected by Sri Govardhan, whose caves are coloured with shining kumkum particles falling from Gandhava Giridhari as they enjoy amorous pastimes. May we always be protected by Sri Govardhan, whose boulders serve as beautiful jeweled sofas for the comfort of Yugala Kishore. I take shelter of the supremely enchanting Sangam, namely Keli Priyastal, where Radhakund and Shamakund meet. This is Radha Madhava's favorite playground and is especially enchanting, being full of many champak, beautiful young ashok, mango, nagkeshan, and bakul trees, and dense masses of lavanga and madhavi creepers. Or to speak of others, the delightful forest of Vrindavan, beautiful Govardhan Hill, and the Rastali flowing with nectar are not equal to even a single particle of one of the atoms of Radhakund. I take shelter of this most special pond, which is as precious to Mukunda as his dear most beloved Srimati Radhika herself. Rejecting many lavish golden pavilions studded with jewels and pearls as thoroughly paltry, I eternally worship Yugalakishore's preferred pastime place, the brilliantly shining and fabulous Mahakunj on the bank of Radhakund, where Yugalakishore enjoy themselves blissfully absorbed in discussing at great length the humorous goings-on in the kingdom of Kamdev, having appointed him as their minister of amorous affairs. Aho, how wonderful! Glowing with intense love for each other, Yugala Kishore reflecting the mirrors of each other's hearts, as if wearing their passion for each other as a locket and as their garments. The Creator Brahma has beautifully fashioned them from the fabric of good fortune, and they are the abode of the greatest beauty within the three worlds. When will I be able to directly serve my dearest golden bluish Yugala Kishore, beautiful like a streak of lightning flashing against a fresh dark rain cloud? With heaps and heaps of praise I lavishly glorify Ujjwal Maharaj, who is Prem itself, inciting Yugala Kishore's loving affairs, and who worships them by inspiring their many wonderful erotic practices, their eyes rolling automatically, their arms extended invitingly, nectarian gentle smiles, drinking ambrosia from each other's mouths, sweet kisses placed on each other's lips, and tight embraces. With body, mind, and words I offer pranam to Ujjwal Maharaj. I eternally worship Sri Radha Madhava's early adolescence, when various sweet symptoms become manifest: elongated eyes, crookedness of their sidelong glances, broadening of the chest, blooming of the breasts, charming craftiness of their spoken words, fullness of their hips, and an extraordinary intense sweetness pervading all their limbs. I always eagerly worship Arishtakund, Shamakund, which is none different from Sham himself, which, upon the killing of the wicked Aristasura, automatically sprang from Krishna's lotus feet, just as nectar naturally trickles from a blooming lotus. This pond, which holds Radha Kund in an eternally tight embrace, is so dear to Srimati Radhika that with her own hand she lovingly beautified it with bathing staircases. On the pretext of going to fetch clear water, the lotus-eyed gopis again and again go to Pavana Sarovara, where they meet Gopindra Nandan with great happiness and love. May Pavana Sarovara, which is surrounded with many kadamba trees, resounding with the pleasure and humming of many bees, protect us by granting us residence on its bank. May Pavana Sarovara enable us to directly realize the sweetness of Yugala Kishore's pastimes. Seeing that his son Brajraj Nanda had no offspring, grandfather Parjanya Gopa went to the bank of Shunahar Sarovara. There he worshipped Bhagavan Srinarayan by ardently fasting from food and water in order to attain a worthy grandson who would be the abode of all transcendental virtues, who could destroy all the demons and lift Govardhan Hill. May the sacred pond, which is known all over the world as Shunahar Sarovara, the lake of fasting, be our shelter. Ordered by Brahma, speaking from the sky, Bhagavati Shri Purnamasi Devi coronated Srimati Radhika as queen of the super excellent kingdom of Vrindavan. Accompanied by Savitri Devi and many other joyfully dancing goddesses, she jubilantly performed her Abhishek ceremony with the waters of Manasa Ganga and other sacred rivers. May the sacred place, known as Unmat Radha Stali, the place where Srimati Radhika was showered with joy, shower us with great happiness. In a square-shaped pavilion named Astani, whose expert craftsmen lovingly fashioned from large boulders at the foot of Nandishwar hill, Krishna, Sri Dama, and all their friends play many fun-filled games. I take shelter of this pavilion, which is fragrant with the scent of Sri Hari's lotus feet. As he was dancing with the intelligent, graceful, and splendidly beautiful gopis, Sri Krishna, the subduer of the Mura demon, suddenly left their company and went with Srimati Radhika to a secluded place. There, after wonderfully decorating her with many, many kinds of flowers, he greatly enjoyed intimate exchanges with her. I pray that this sacred Ras Stali, whose sweetness astonishes the residents of the three worlds, may grant us residence. May Manasa Ganga, who enjoys the abundant sweetness of Sri Sri Gandhabika, Murivimardhan's jubilant boating pastimes, protect us. Her waves of ecstasy constantly bathe the Govardhan Shilas lining her shore. May she protect us from everything unfavorable to relishing the ras of Yugala Kishore's pastimes. I worship Giriraj Govardhan, the best of all the hills of Raj. Madhava and his beloved Sakas, as they herd the cows, decorate themselves with the mountain's colorful mineral pigments and joke and play hide and seek. In the secluded caves of Govardhan, Madhava enjoys intimate pastimes with Srimati Radhika. While tending the cows in the summertime, Brajendra Nandan, Sri Krishna, jubilantly plays with his friends in the cool waters of the streams and expansive lakes of Braj. In their joking combat, both sides are eager for victory and vigorously splash each other as they enjoy their sports. I eternally worship these lakes and streams where the son of the king of Gopas enjoys with his sakas. Gopendra Nandan comes with his friends and cows to the banks of the streams and lakes to get refreshed. The inviting cool breezes there carry the fragrance of the surrounding flowers, causing Krishna to remember his beloved Radha. Suddenly overwhelmed in separation, he begins to perspire, Sveda. Seeing this, the breeze drops the fragrance of the flowers and replaces it with cool mist to relieve Krishna of his symptoms. But the breeze is not successful in alleviating his viraha. Krishna turns to his sakas for relief and joins in their games, thus controlling his Shringar Bhav. The sakas invite him to play in the water for boating and swimming. Hearing the beautiful sound of Srimati Radhika playing her Kachipi Veena, accompanied by Sri Krishna playing his Murali flute, the most enchanting best of deer becomes stunned with rapture. With half-chewed grass hanging from their mouths and with deep feelings of friendship, they surround